Aha, it's me again, unfortunately. Yeah. Anyway, what am I doing? Oh yeah. This question is actually a great follow-up to the last video that I loaded the 1 hour special with Mark Greed and we talked about this subject at some length. This question though comes at it from a slightly different angle and was originally asked during my session with Eric Kimberling of Third Stage Consulting, some while ago. And it was asked by Laurel Benson, who is a Senior Organisational Change Manager at Petronas in Canada, where it seems that change managers mostly report into project managers. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, interesting, I would say. What was their question? I suppose I better tell you that, hadn't I? Their question was, do you have any advice for experienced change managers working with project managers who are resistant themselves to understanding and supporting our work as change managers? The short answer is, yes, I bloody well do, and I'm going to tell you. But first, let me give you some context. I've delivered my project management versus change management session to over 30 PMI chapters globally, involving nearly 2,000 PMs. And based on the feedback that I've got from those sessions, most did not understand the concept of change management or only had minimal knowledge of the subject. So tell me, why should an experienced and qualified change manager report to someone who knows next to nothing about change management? Kind of makes me wonder why they call themselves change makers now. What do you think about that? Okay. Secondly, my view is that CM and PM model of working in partnership is the way forward, because a PM with a responsibility for change management, or conversely, a CM with responsibility for project management, I think just puts too much pressure on an individual, and they may not necessarily have the right experience and skill set to manage both elements. But, there's always a but, it depends on things like size of the project, size of the stakeholder base, the impact of the solution on the business, and budget, money. Have we got money for a change manager? To name but a few. One of the issues about this is we change managers face is role clarity. And there is still a lack of understanding on the role of project management and change management in many organisations. If you want to go and look at video 08, I think it is, that answers the question, how do you convince organisations to use change managers as well as project managers? It's my most viewed video on my YouTube channel. I wonder why. Anyway, besides confusion around role clarity, there are other barriers to project and change management collaboration on an equal footing. They are, even now, today, the discipline of change management, it still seems to be in its infancy stage by comparison to project management. So change management professionals are in the early phases of converting non-believers. If we go back to our history, I think change management really came to the fore in about the mid-90s, to be honest. So, since the role of the project manager has expanded significantly, most do not have the capacity or capability to learn change management. Change management is not easily measured since the results are often intangible. So executives who control the money struggle to justify the expense and fail to get behind change management efforts. Would you agree with those sentiments? Let me know. Okay, I suppose we better get to the question, hadn't we? Here's some tips or some advice or whatever you want to call it. Support and buy-in from the project teams. Make change management meaningful and real. Connect with what the project team cares about and focuses on the ability of the project to deliver the intended results and outcomes through better adoption and usage of the solution by employees. Usage and adoption, the holy grail of change management. Although the project manager normally disappears at go live and goes to another project, whereas a change manager has to manage usage and adoption, which happens after go live. Anyway, next one. Support from leadership. Connect change management to achieving the intended benefits and value from the change. The case for change management should be directly tied to the ultimate results and outcomes of the project. Prioritizing, scope and timing. Be structured in your change management approach and ensure collaboration with the project team, because by asking the important questions early, you can actually position change management and help provide clarity on the scope challenge at hand. Role definition and clarity. Be preemptive about defining and clarifying roles. Identify activities that might result in overlap when it comes to which role carries out which task, and discuss these activities right up front with the project team. Direction on how to integrate. Provide specific concrete opportunities for integration by gaining foundational knowledge and insights into your organization's project management processes. Encourage project managers to do the same for change management. Swift kick up the butt, I think, might help there. Sorry about that. Anyway, during my PM versus CM webinars, which I mentioned earlier on, I show a slide that depicts what I consider a practical example of how projects should be structured. So first of all, the sponsor sits up here, okay, right up here, top of the pile, I'm the boss. Below them, there is a steering group or a program board, whatever you want to call it, it's up to you, made up of various senior individuals. Reporting to the group will be the project manager and the change manager, but they will be equal in their reporting responsibilities. Basically, they collaborate with each other. No one has authority over the other. A project team will report into the project manager, okay, and a change team, if you're lucky enough to have one. In my experience, I very rarely have had a change team, so I've used change agents from the business to help me, will report to the change manager. The change manager will act as the conduit into the business, working with, as I said, a group of change agents who will be responsible for specific stakeholder groups. I hope that kind of encapsulates what I mean. I hope. I also did a quick bit of research and found an interesting blog from WalkMe, which was about a question asked in the ACMP LinkedIn group. The question was, where do you belong on the org chart? Interesting. Most change management consultants still see themselves as part of HR or part of an IT project, even a bigger or any project for that matter. Really? So they come up with sort of different person type situations. Person one believes that change managers should ideally belong to a dedicated pool of internal consultants, but be immersed in the department they have the scope in. She follows the internal consultancy model. That way, she says, the change manager can have an efficient impact on the organisation by attending meetings, but he or she will still belong to a team where they can develop and discuss change. Person two, shares her experience working on a global cross-functional transformation for the US Army. Obviously, this organisation has a relatively large staff of commanders, specialists, advisors and administrators. And because of this, she understands why many believe that the change manager position in the organisational chart, as well as their title, is less relevant or doesn't make any difference whatsoever. But in her opinion, it does matter. Person 3, a change and business transformation professional, has been placed at different levels in the organisational chart. He has had to report directly to the CEO in corporate services and HR, in IT and others. Okay, he mentioned that he was most successful when reporting directly into the CEO. Goddamn right, as then he was able to engage with him directly and give him the odd nudge to lean on his managers for buy-in, as well as being able to portray power and influence directly to the organisation. He believes that where change managers are being placed in the organisation is not as important as how you practice your trade and how you handle resistance. Spot on, person 3. Person 4 agrees that change managers should report directly to the CEO. She believes that the real problem is that many companies confuse change management with project or program management, which isn't regarded as high value for CEOs. Tell me about it. Okay. So my take is that there should be absolutely no demarcation lines drawn between a project manager and a change manager, for the simple reason that both change management and project management both support moving an organisation from a current state, and I've said this many times before, how things are done today, through a transition state to a desired future state. New processes, products, systems, organisation structures, job roles, you name it. If there is anything that gets in the way of this, such as reporting seniority, there will likely be differences of opinion leading to incorrect judgments being made on what could be business critical areas such as business readiness and or the success of training, and whether the project can go live or not. If a change manager reports to a project manager, then the primary reason will be based on time, on cost, on quality and on scope. And things like lack of business readiness and inadequate training will be secondary to that decision. But both are critical factors in the process, aren't they? Anyway, just to finish off, in 2021, I repeated a survey that was done on LinkedIn, probably about 10 years earlier, which asked 2 questions. 1, how important is project management to change management success? To change success. And the second question was, how important is change management to project success? The results, interestingly, show question 1 in the first survey came back with critical 25% and necessary 68%. Question 1 in the second survey came back with critical 34% and very important 44%. Compared with question 2 in the first survey came back with critical 48% and necessary 43%, and question 2 in the second survey came back with critical 64% and very important 24%. So if change management is shown as being nearly double as critical to project success than project management, I think I can rest my case right there, my lud. Thank you. Okay, I look forward to your verdict once you've listened to this. Cheers.